When the lights go on again all over the world.
And this is his airplane, the Put Rouge. You can see the same name here. And that name comes from the sound of the boats, the Japanese small boats that used to ply around Hawaii and the islands before the war. And they were plotting information, trying to find out what they were going to do for the big raid that they were going to hold. And those engines on those boats had a very peculiar sound to them. And it just sounded like they were do something like that. So our commanding officer decided to name his plane after that. But he shows on the side of his plane there 27 Japanese flags. That means he has shot down 27 planes. He was the third ace in the Pacific War. 27. The first one had a 38 count, a Major Bong, and he came home and sold a lot of bonds.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I like how.
And he was out testing a new type of airplane and crashed and was killed. He was back home.
Over the world.
We got down to Australia, and we offloaded a lot of the people there. There were, as I say, nurses and Navy personnel, Army, Air Force, Marines, all going different directions. And my ship continued on up into New Guinea. The war had been heavily active in this part of the Pacific Ocean. And as the Japanese were controlled in these particular islands here, we were able to move north up towards the Japanese homeland. And in New Guinea, I was located there, and I found out after the war that my sister, this lady right here, she was an Army nurse, and she was 50 miles away from me, and I didn't know it in New Guinea.
And the boys are home again. All
Just to give you a perspective of how young he must have looked, this was when he was 12, and he went in the Marines when he was 16. So, and then this is something I was gonna read, and this is what some of the stuff that he told me about. I ran the bulldozer. I put a trench in the volcanic ash. The guys would scoop holes and drop body bags in the spots. Now the volcanic ash, it would just kind of cave in, like if you dug a deep hole at the beach in the sand, it would all just, only this even dropped worse. They took the body bags and put our men in the bags and dropped them into the trenches. He buried 18 men that day. He's just talking about one particular day, and I'll never forget it as long as he lives. And there were lots of other burials that way too. First into the island, I drove the Amtrak from ship to beach filled with Marines. Many men never made it out of the Amtrak or up to some sort of cover. They were being picked off like sitting ducks. There was no way to dig a good foxhole, as the volcanic gas would just flow back into the holes. I drove supplies, ammo, and food up to the top, and sometimes had to use boxes of rations as shields from the Japanese fire. And he had to go through enemy lines to get stuff up to the guys that were cut off by the Japanese soldiers. And he was supposed to have gotten, I think it's a Silver Star for that. But his gunnery sergeant Davis, who told him he was going to get it, they had to have him and another Marine sign on it for him to get it. They were both killed in action, so Denny never got the award.
I say M-O, M-O-P, M-O-P-P, mop, mop, M-O-P-P, mop, 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 R. I say R-A, R-A-G, R-A-G-G, rag, R-A-G-G, M-O-P-P, rag, mop, do-do-do-da-da-da, rag, mop.
If ever you have any problem or hear of any bombs being going to be dropped in your area, the first thing you do is do not go in any building. Stay out of buildings. You can understand why, because if the bomb hits it, it's going to blow all over the place, and you don't want to be in it. Secondly, stay away from downwind, the wind, the direction that the radiation might be going. Third, get in a hole in the ground, any kind of a hole, sewer, any kind of a hole. Don't worry about having water in it as long as you can, stay above water. Get in a hole in the ground, get in a ditch, lay against a curb, lay against anything that would protect you from flying debris. And you understand why I'm saying there's stuff flying around and everything. So the chances are, if you do what I just said, you're going to be okay. You're going to make it. The only one that knew I was in the bomb test was my commanding officer, the battalion commander. And we were sworn to secrecy for 46 years. We couldn't discuss it. And then 46 years later is when we got this in the mail. And that released us from our secrecy, and that allowed us to tell what we know.
That war is not glamorous. It's a messy waste of human beings. And when you see body parts laying around, you know that war is not glamorous. Heroes come, heroes go. Wars will never end.